guy, Matt Rappaport, live. Hello, Robin. You like my new nose? Is it nice? Ooh, this is awesome. This awesome work by Mark Rodriguez. Oh, hey, look, this is what I actually look like. That's what? No, resemblance, strong, like bull. And of course, this guy over here. Of course, he made me Jonah Hill, which is fine. He also made himself Channing Tatum. So his chest is amazing. He's Mark Rodriguez. He's coming up soon. How are you? September. Can you believe that it's September? I can't believe that we've made it. It's almost a year in that we're doing Hangout Conversations with Matt Rappaport. That's some other guy. And it's been a pleasure to do it. We have the big anniversary show coming up next week. It's going to be 24 hours of craziness. I'm going to have, hopefully, Suite 709 is going to start, and then we're going to have all past guests and everyone just drop in at 10 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., and probably by 8:15 the next day, I'll be like, what? Huh? What's my name? Say my name, because I don't know it. I won't know it by then, but that'll be a good time. That's Wednesday, September 12th at 8:15 p.m. I see some people are catching up as the viewers, as you slowly see the video and be like, oh, I thought the show was 20 minutes ago. Did we miss it? You didn't miss it. It's on tape. If you're watching on tape, hello, how are you? Is it snowing outside is what I'd like to know. No, it's not snowy. Okay. If you're watching live, of course it's hot and nice and everything. You know, you got to do the time delay, you know, Groundhog's Day and everything. But I've got the movie Mashup Tuesday guy. As you can tell, Mark Rodriguez will be here later in like 2 minutes. When I say later, it's not like you're going to wait a long time for the guy. I know you want to see this guy. Last week's show with 9 times. I know Mark Rodriguez knows what movie I'm referencing with the 9 times. 9-time Emmy award-winning news anchor who now works for Veterans United Blogger Network. Sarah Hill, that show is now up, and I kissed her virtually on the cheek, and hopefully I'll get to kiss Mark Rodriguez virtually on the cheek as well. That'll be a lot of fun. And last Plustainment show with Jade Ellen is coming up, number 23. The reason why I'm out of breath is because I ran to get something very healthy to eat. I needed to get some healthy dinner, and that's why you're like, why is he? I'm trying to get into character here. He just did an awesome get into the Greek, and Jonah Hill's running around. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, you know, he's screaming and going crazy. So, and everyone's like, you know who you remind me of? And I go, yeah, Jonah Hill. So, and then they're usually cute girls that do it, and they're like, that's not a bad thing. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, you can now hype your Hangout. If you have a Hangout show, hype myhangout.com. I used it today. It's pretty cool. You literally can make a little short promo video, which I used to do. I used to make these long promo videos. It's like 10 seconds. You have to like really time it. It's like bing. It's like you see a countdown clock, and you go, hey, Hangout Conversations, bing. So it's kind of like when you record a voicemail and you're recording, you're like, and it goes beep. You're like, no, what did I just do? And then she breaks up with you. You know, that happens sometimes. So anyway, let's get into it. I like movies. You like movies. My guest tonight loves movies. You know, I use my teleprompter. I made my first movie recently, Yokoshimoto. I don't know if you've seen it or if Mark's seen it. It's about a mom and a therapist, the rapist. And I hope to make a lot more, being in them, watching them. My guest tonight shares a big love, a deep love, so deep it hurts. He is the founder and chief contributor, I think I got my facts right on his dossier, to Movie Mashup Tuesday, which is where all these images. He doesn't just do it on Tuesday, but Tuesday is the main day for them because Sunday is the day of rest, or Saturday if you're a Jew like me. And I lost my place. He starred in many of them as well. He stars in a lot of them because he created them. Hello, that's how it works. I was lucky to be in these 2. I was in one, New York City Hurl. Back in February, I was in the Home Alone one, and he just did this awesome get into the Greek one, which is very cool. Joe Pesci and Jonah Hill seem to be my aliases. And he also made a really cool one with Goodfellas, the Google Plus fellas, with Trey Ratcliffe recently, and Thomas Hawk and Kobe Brown. I'm like thinking of the names. What are the names? He's got a lot of other Plus projects and tags. He's got a lot of pages. So many pages. I've got a lot of pages. He's got Manly Mondays, Blast from the Past. He's got G Plus Profile Project. I'm saying that wrong. He'll correct me in a second. And he's just an awesome guy. First time I got to hang out with him, I think, was on Billy Wilson's show, but maybe we were going to hang out before that. So many hangouts, so little time. He's awesome. He's fun. He does a lot of other things offline besides besides just being a cool movie dude, photographer, animator, designer, illustrator, or husband, father, carbon-based life form. He could tell that I'm stealing this from his profile. The list goes on and on. Plus, nobody knows except for like plus 5 people that he could touch his nose with his tongue. I'll be asking him to do that later. And I almost said touch his nose with my tongue, which would have been really kind of disgusting and scary at the same time. He is the one and only. He is the Mark Rodriguez. Hello, Mark Rodriguez. Welcome to Hangout Conversations. Make sure you unmute yourself. He's like, I didn't do that. You can't hear my laughter.
I did unmute myself, but then I clicked it twice.
Double click, double click. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Did a double tap on the mute button.
Up, A, B, B, C, C. That's all right, cool. Hey, man, thanks for being here. How are you? How's your day going, your summer, September, man? I can't believe it's September. And
it's good. Kids are back in school, so I have a little bit of my sanity back. Not all of it, but some of it back. So it's actually been good, and staying busy with other endeavors. I guess, like you said, animation and stuff. That's one of my my mainstay. I mean, that's my day-to-day job. I do animation, and
cool.
The photography is, you know, it's a hobby, but it also is part of my my career also, or my what, you know, a little bit of income here and there sometimes. But
I hear income is needed. I hear income is good. People.
Yeah, it helps to eat and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I could barely get one of these, and so I'll bite into it later when we're talking.
I need to keep these.
You have that. Yeah, you need. That's more important probably. What do I got? Movies. Yeah. So everyone wants to know when the last time you were good and kissed was. I mean, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Is what I meant to say. But yeah, so then 9 times. I'm sure you knew what that was from, right? No.
I was trying to.
I didn't give the exact quote. The quote exactly is, "Your son has been absent 9 times." 9 times. Ferris? Then I said Ferris.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't do it right.
Drawing a blank.
That's all right. I won't. Can't. Yeah, it happens. I'm sure you knew it. It's just you're like, it's too much pressure. I can't take the pressure.
Bueller.
That is the classic movie. I can't believe so that. They're testing out the new microphone.
Bueller.
Anyone? Fry. So yeah, that movie is what? So that 84, 86, 26 years old? 85, 20.
It just seems like it just came out yesterday. I mean, it's timeless. I mean, that's a timeless movie right there. So
I wonder if our parents felt the same way. When we were like younger, they'd be like, I don't know, Wonderful Life, or before that, they'd be like, yeah, that seems like yesterday. You're like, no, it's maybe because of the whole black and white. We don't really do black and white. So when someone's like, some kid now is like, this movie is old, but it's in color, right? They're like, you had to dial.
How'd they make it back then?
How did they
didn't
do
have
anything? I know. People actually had to use books to research stuff.
They didn't shoot this on a camera phone? What? What are you talking about?
I know, right? It looks kind of camera phony and all that jazz. So let's get right into it. People love Movie Mashup Tuesday. I love it. You did these.
I love it.
You love it. She loves it. We love it. So I don't know. You want to talk a little bit about your process and how you decide on what movie you're gonna do and who to use, and then we could get specific about the ones you made for me.
Yeah. Give you a little history first. It was actually started a ways back with not indirectly, but there was, if you're familiar with Krista Ray on G+, and she has this little white, I guess it's like a Pomeranian or something, named Willow. It's this really cute little dog, and she had this shot of it. And I originally thought it was Shane Hoskelaw did it, but actually Keith Johnson started putting that dog into pictures, just superimposing the face of the dog, various pictures and stuff. And so then Shane Hoskelaw started doing it also, but then started putting it into movie posters. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm all over that. It's just, I had to do it. So I started doing a couple of them with, I think the first 2 I did was, I did one with the Grinch, and what was the other one? can't remember what the other one actually was right now. But so then we
Don't
kind of
worry,
played
you
around.
won't lose points.
I
It's not
won't
on the
lose.
test. It's not on the test, so you're good.
And then well, a couple, like maybe, I don't know, we did that for maybe a week or two, and then Krista and Shane approached me to do, an actual hashtag theme with it, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then it kind of was born. It was originally Movie Poster Monday, but then we found out there was already another hashtag Movie Poster Monday that was just you posted posters of movie posters you liked. It had nothing more than just find a movie poster and post it. So it really.
But
But
that in itself is kind of a cool idea. I mean,
it
it's
is, yeah, because
involved.
you can find some obscure movie posters, and a lot of times when I'm actually going and looking for posters, a lot of times the European and the Japanese, those posters, because they do completely different versions sometimes, and they're actually really really cool, and you see a completely different side of a way it's presented and everything. Just it's never usually done exactly the same. So they kind of even do a mashup in a way because they do it completely different. So there's possibilities with that theme, but we didn't want to tread on it, so we moved it to Tuesday and kind of changed it around, movie mashup, and so then it was born and kind of has been going ever since. And we were going for a while, and then we added an additional curator, which is Isabel Fortain, which I refer to as my movie mashup queen, because
Huh.
she and I we go back and forth mashing each other, and and I have a lot of fun with it, and she's been really really good to as far as promoting the theme and getting it out there, getting the word out, and doing it.
And
And
she has a background as well in photography or art
uh,
or
she's actually a graphic design. She's
graphic
a
design.
creative director, and does just some amazing work. So we brought her on board, and we've been kind of just trucking ever since.
And so
So
you do a lot of pages, but would you say is it fair to say far and above Movie Mashup Tuesday is like your favorite and you love
yeah,
the most? Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely is my favorite because it's something that I'm passionate about and something I love to do. I mean, there's so many people that I see on G Plus. I'm like, they're gonna be in a post. It's like I see the face. I'm like, you're gonna be in a poster. I see it. You're next. And so getting into the process, I just stockpile. I see people, and I'll put them. I have a gallery that I just I collect faces. That sounds kind of morbid, but I collect faces,
Huh.
and I'm the face collector.
Tell them what you really do. I sit there late at night and look
Okay.
at the faces and I start thinking, if I
What
was
do I
married,
do?
what I would do to those faces.
What I would do to all of them.
Push them to it.
But we actually, on top of that, we have an actual gallery that's set up that people can willingly put their faces into. And if you go to our about us page on the Movie Mashup Tuesday page, there's a link to it, and people can actually add their own faces to be mashed up. And and there's I don't even know how many faces we have in there now, probably a couple hundred, if not more. And so people can put their face up there, and it's not it's completely random. If someone wants to choose you, they do. Some people get chosen more often just because maybe they got more different looks. Like, you can put as many pictures of yourself as you want. We try and get the ones that work better. Obviously, is going to be a cleaner shot. The head-on shots work good. 3/4 angle. If you got glasses on, or maybe it's a little darker, it's harder to work with sometimes. So I always try and encourage people, if you can, either shoot something for it if you can, but if not, try and get a nice clean shot, and highest resolution as possible, because I'm a real stickler with that. I like really high resolution shots because I want to do a lot with it. And
So do you find yourself taking shots that aren't so trying to clean up shots a lot, or before you
oh yeah, like
install
your
it?
shot,
Mine were the worst.
yours.
Oh!
Go right for the jugular.
I knew, because when you said that, I'm like, I don't have any clean shots. What?
Well, the one I did for the 21 Jump Street, I pulled. It was a screen grab from one of your Hangouts, yeah, and it was really kind of pixelated, and had a lot of odd color cast to it and stuff. So I had to work to pull that out and get it, get it sharp, sharpened where it matched everything else that was there. So some of them, some of them.
How much of this? So I can sort of tell with their hairline. The hair is not me, but so is it? Besides the hair, is everything 100% from the picture or just from?
I try and use as much as possible from the original picture. You can, when you start to take too much away, then it quits becoming the person, and then it's pointless. But so I try and use as much as possible from the original shot, the person, as possible, to still keep that it's identifiable, that it's the person, but while still maintaining the integrity of blending it as much as possible. So I want it to, obviously want it to look like this was the real poster. That's my end goal on all of them, is to make it, where when the person sees it, they're like, holy shit, how did I get into that poster? And that, that's the reaction I want out of people when they see it. And I love it, when someone can, get a rise out of it and get a laugh out of somebody. I do try and pick situational ones a lot of the time. The 3 I did for this one, for the show, they were very specific in the what I chose, as far as, I wanted one that had us, paired together, so
Right. You made sure to keep me Jewish. In all 3. And you made sure not to make me Giovanni Ribisi or anything.
I didn't want to.
No Italian.
So, and then, obviously you do a lot of multimedia and stuff. So, and you're from New York, you're in New York there. So I was like, okay, Howard Stern, king of all media, you're the king of all G+.
And I think, maybe I got the better body than I have now, but I definitely the nose. I mean, I got the, he's got a way. He's like, if I had a nose like that, I wouldn't be famous. Can I be honest with you? When we get close up with the hair, does it not, and this is probably going to insult me, I'm going to insult myself, do I not look almost like a woman in this picture?
It is very feminine.
That close up? Thank you, yeah.
You look good. I'm starting to get a little turned on.
Starting to get a little, yeah, it's kind of.
You might want to put it down.
All right. We just creeped out. We just lost 5 people. All right. Lovely. They're like, no! I am a man. I do have all the man parts, private parts.
Private parts.
Private parts. Golden go. Where no Mark has gone before.
So I do try and try at times when I can to tailor the poster around the person I'm choosing, or maybe a style or something that I think they would appreciate, or humor that they would find funny, maybe maybe something earlier in the week, or there was some joke that sits in the back of my head, and then when I go to do that person, I try and find a poster that'll match maybe that private joke or whatever it was, or relate it, to the event. Like you were saying, we were on, when we were on Billy's show, I did one with myself and Isabel where, we were back to back, like we were facing the world, because we were going to go on the show together and kind of face the masses. So, that one I did, but then I've also done some to try and help, with people's causes and stuff.
Which is awesome.
I mean, forget names all the time.
That's all right. That's all right. This is not the Oscars. Catherine Morgan.
Well, I was going to say Catherine Morgan, actually.
Oh, is that? Did I know what I said? No.
Well, you said Captain Morgan.
Oh, Captain. No, I meant to say Catherine. Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine Morgan. Yeah, when I did the one when she was getting ready to shave her head for the foundation. Again, like you said,
she raised a lot of money. The hair, locks.
Baldrick's was the Locks of Love and the Baldrick's Foundation that she was doing. Which is awesome. And so I tried to tie that in with it, and I did the G.I. Jane where she shaved, so it was a precursor for what she was gonna look like, So,
and you did the Matrix too, or no? I think you did you? Or maybe I'm making that up.
I don't know. I've done a Matrix one yet.
No, I didn't. I thought we used her in the Matrix one, but I'm not sure.
Someone else might have. Like I said, that's the thing of it. There's so many people that contribute each week, and we get new people almost every week. We get new people adding posters, and it's awesome. And we've got 2 brothers. I believe they're over in England that have this little duel, and they like try and put the other in the most embarrassing situation and poster possible. So they go back and forth.
Hilarious.
And so it's a little fun that they play, and we get to watch while they do it, and they do great work. And there's a couple others that on here that recently have done that as well, where they go back and forth and try and like I say put each other in compromising positions. So it's a lot of fun. So
How many movie posters do you think you've made, and how many do you think have been made by others? Estimate, ballpark.
I know personally, I actually went on a marathon right towards the 1 year anniversary of Google Plus. I had looked in my folder because I keep them all in one folder in my galleries, and I was probably about 20 or 30 shy of 100 for the year. And so I literally went on a 3-day tear and actually knocked out 20 posters over the course of 3 days. And then the last day, I slowly built up to it was actually built up to the Todd. It was actually Todd Pilgrim, and I did all the villains throughout the day, all the X's, kept staggering them throughout the day, doing each one of the X's, and then finally at the end, I was Todd Pilgrim and Isabel was his girlfriend, and there we are again, kind of against the world. So again, try and make it fun and kind of make it interesting. And so that was a fun day, or a fun couple of days. I was dead after that.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think you would ever take all of them and make just a slideshow video or an animated GIF for a few of them, or just to rehash them for people? Because I'm sure I missed some, and I'm sure people have missed some. That would be cool. Or
well, you could now with with the new gallery settings, go to my gallery. I got them all public in my galleries, and it's labeled Movie Mashup Tuesdays, and just start at the first one and hit slideshow and
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, people should do that. I'm just saying, just throwing things at you. You're stop.
But now since then, I've probably even into the new year, or into the new Google year, I should say.
The plus year.
We've probably done probably
two, I guess.
Yeah, I can't do the.
Yeah, now it's 2 because it's the second year. What happens after the third year? Then we're screwed after that.
I gotta unzip my pants.
Whoa! Hey now.
Hey now. But yeah,
it's you haven't. So you've never done. Is there? Here I am, obviously with no shirt on. But is there a risk? Is there one that's the most risque movie poster you've never done, or something that's sexual, or Debbie Does Dallas, or
Actually, yeah, I did. One of my dear friends on here is Sandra Parlow, and I actually did her as it was actually an old Russ Myers film, and
nice. King of Sex,
this real busty chick with these pigtails, and that was probably the most where I kind of pushed, but I knew it was somebody that could take it. That it was so it was all tongue in cheek, and she got a laugh out of it. So it was that was probably the one that kind of pushed the furthest. And then I did actually do one recently that was for it's a movie about the chick that actually did Deep Throat. I can't remember
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know.
Yeah, and I
the documentary Inside Deep Throat or something.
It was something like that, or In Deep, or so. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the documentary, but it was it was about Linda Lovelace, and I did somebody with that, but they got a kick out of it. So again, I've yet to have anybody, and I get asked it all the time. Does anybody get offended? But generally, I either pick somebody out of the gallery that I know is gonna like it. Obviously, because they put their face in there, so they are fair game. So I do that. And a lot of my friends on G Plus, that I know what I do, and they're wouldn't get upset or offended by it, and I've tried to as it's gone along, tried to make sure I've done a lot of my early on friends from G Plus, the people that I met back in in the very start, in the early days, and try and work.
There's so many people. It's so.
There is.
Are there movie? Do you ever look for movie posters that have a bunch of people, or it's hard to find those?
No, there's plenty of posters with a lot of people. The most I did was I did the Snatch poster, and there's
5, 6,
9. Probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's probably 7.
Did you see? I know Jib Jab. Jib Jab does something where you can cut out people's faces and put them in the videos and stuff.
I love
too. Those are good. Those are fun to do.
But but yeah, no, the multi-person poster ones are, those are, excuse me, a challenge, because one, you got to find enough faces that will match, and that's the other thing when I'm looking for the faces is I'm real critical on the angle of the face. If and I'll try, a couple different faces on something before I'll just abandon it. It's like, okay, this person, I try and use the person I'm looking for, and I'll really try and work that in and really try and get it. And if it, just isn't going to happen, then I'll abandon it. Because what I don't want, I don't want it, to just not be flattering or whatever. So I just sometimes will just abandon it. Just like, it's just not going to work. And there's been some people that I've continuously tried, like, okay, I found another poster, maybe they'll work on this one, and then no, it's just not going to happen, and I just abandon it again, and then finally.
Is it so? Do people just have weird faces or weird structures, or what? Like, what is it? Because you could shrink people's faces and stretch them and stuff. And I know, like, for Get Him to the Greek, you definitely took a piece of my face and put it into Jonah Hill's face.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's got that kind of.
Or he did, yeah.
But yeah, there's a few things I look for. One is the angle. I want it to be on angle, the same as whatever whatever the poster is originally. So I go for on angle first, and then I look at lighting, but I'm not as critical of it. But if someone is in deep shadow on one side of their face, and on the poster it's brightly lit, you can only do so much reconstructive that you're just basically going to redraw it. And I do redraw some areas sometimes, but not to that extent, where I'm actually physically just rebuilding the whole side of the face. So again, that's one that I'll just pass up. But and then
no, so you haven't done the Face Off one, have you?
Which one?
Have you done Face Off yet?
The movie Face Off?
The poster, yeah. Or
no, I don't.
Because I just think hearing you talk sounds like the movie Face Off, like just trying to reconstruct the face.
What was the thing Travolta did?
Yeah, where he did that, or I think it was Nicolas Cage. I think he was like.
That's right, Cage was the best guy. Yeah, he did the thing on his daughter's face. Oh, it is you. Oh. Okay.
Right. When he was Nicolas Cage, yeah, that was a confusing. I liked the movie. It was a little confusing.
It was okay.
It was decent. I mean, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I just could have seen them together in a movie as their careers. It's funny, let's go into movies. In fact, both of them, their careers kind of went. They both, like, Travolta's a little bit higher, but they both kind of just did, like, every single movie that they could get their hands on, I feel like, the two of them. Yeah. Since that movie. Or since then. Since Academy Award. So, do you want to take us a little through the process? Before you do, we have a lot of people watching. Like we said, Isabel is watching. Jim Migliori. Is that what I say his name? He's like, you talking to me? I'm a Goomba. Hey, Jim, what's up? William Brower is also. It's a blast, William Brower. We're having a good time. You having a good time? He's got a beer. I have H2O. I need to get more beer once I make more money. D Cleverly. A lot of people are watching Growing. We've got kids watching from the laundry mat. How awesome is that? I think on our phone. Jason Joseph. Around and around and around and around. But yeah. So take us through the process. How do you actually go from taking the poster and the picture, and is it you're going right into Photoshop and doing it, or?
I mean, do you want me to show you?
You can do it, yeah. Bring it on. Bring on the.
Let me bring
screen
up,
share. And what? Yeah.
I was gonna say I will apologize to the people watching out there that I've been promising to do a how-to video or a video showing sort of process from start to finish, and I'm a slacker and I just haven't done it yet. So
you're a slacker. Your father was a slacker. You'll always be a slacker.
Exactly. So let me screen share here.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say if you're watching and he hasn't done you yet, write letters to your congressman and see they'll be able to do something for you. And the other thing I was gonna say is before you start, I had these guys from Flickchart on, and I don't know if you've been there, but Flickchart has you choose between two movies to figure out the movies you like best, and they have movie posters of movies, like all of them. So if you need to find them, Flickchart.com will give you an endless supply of movie posters. All right, here we go, Aaron. See, I didn't even read. Aaron Green is 72 hours to get a rock star from Tampa to Google Plus. Pray for him. I didn't get you quite as far as New York, but.
So this is kind of, you're seeing kind of the palettes and everything. So let me just kind of take everything off here.
No!
We're back to the original.
It got ugly.
So I started actually. I think I brought my face in first up here. No, wait, there's it. Okay, so there's, and actually here, let me. Where's everything go away there? So that's and I'll even turn off.
Wow, wait, when you just showed us without the border, you look kind of like Lawnmower Man or something, or Magneto.
Like Magneto with the little things coming over this.
Or Freddy Krueger before he gets all gross.
So there's the shot I brought in. It's right there.
Now, is that a shot that you just happen to have, or did you specifically have to take that picture?
No, well, sometimes for the ones that I do of myself, if I need to, I'll shoot it. Like when I did Captain America a little while back, I shot it with that in mind. You know, I shoot some of them with that in mind. Of the ones I was feeling a little nostalgic, because when I first started doing them, I would only do myself because I didn't want to offend anybody. So I only, it wasn't being all ego. It was more I didn't want to offend anybody, so I only did posters of myself for the longest time, because I didn't want to, it was so new, and so I did it. And then for the longest time, then I didn't do any pictures of myself whatsoever. And then a while back, I wanted to just kind of feel nostalgic, and one day I just did posters of just nothing but myself in them. And so I shot pictures kind of specifically for those posters, and I was actually very, very happy with those posters. I was very happy with that set. I think it was some of the best ones I did, and I really, really liked them. But so this came out of that set where I just was in there just shooting a bunch of shots, just set up lights. You just got lucky. You just happened to have. Well, that's the thing.
Do you think when you shoot like that, are you thinking about movies in cinematic and thinking about that kind of thing when you're making those faces? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I try and light my face when I'm shooting these as evenly as possible, because I can always take away light. I can't always add it back.
And do you always make it so you're just like a floating head, so you can cut it out?
Yeah, I usually am always wearing a black shirt, so that goes away. I don't have to worry about that. I usually shoot on black because all I'm going to use is just my face element. I'm not going to use my hair anyway. I don't need a rim light. I don't need to cut out my whole head. I'm only going to use my face, so I don't worry about that my hair goes to black. I don't worry about any of the darkness around me, because all I'm going to use is just my face. Just the darkness envelops me. Enveloped in the darkness.
Charlie Murphy, darkness.
So with this one, like I said, I'll bring the background back for a second.
Nice. So is this how you start? Do you have like the picture like that before you cut it up and stuff, or?
Yeah, and I bring it in. I bring it in cold, and then I'll resize it. And usually when I resize it, here, let me get rid of this mask for a second, and that way I can just start from scratch. So usually when I bring it in, it's usually not the right size, so let's just bring it up.
And just going on the record, I did invite Russell Brand. He has yet to show up, so he's late.
Yeah. He owes me money. That's why.
He owes everybody money.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be here. And usually what I do, just for a technical sense, is I switch it to difference. When you switch it to difference, you can kind of see what's behind it, so you can almost kind of line it up. So, just
so like for instance, so you made me Jonah Hill, and I'm okay with it, even though like he was way larger than me, and now he's probably skinny. That's the way.
Yeah, I'll show you what I did with you. So I kind of do this, mostly I worry with the eyes, lining the eyes up, because the eyes are going to give you usually the width of the face. It's generally usually going to match the width of the face, and the eyes, if you don't get the eyes right on the face, usually it throws off the entire look and it makes it wrong. So I usually try and line up the width of the eyes, or what the eyes are going to be across first, and that's so with this one.
Now, is this easier because the face is so prominent and so big? It's easier to do versus like smaller.
Yeah, this one, and they're very pronounced faces. So this,
and of course, none of it's easy. I'm just saying compared to like.
Right. No, but it's definitely that they're so pronounced, so defined, makes it much easier. So So once I get it, kind of where I want it, I lock it in, and then I change the mode back to normal. So there I am, and then I create what's called a layer mask on it, and the first thing I do is just get rid of all the big stuff. I know I'm not going to need it. That's what I was saying about the darkness. I know I'm not going to need any of that, so it's gone. The first thing I do, it's gone. Then I soften my brush.
So now the funny thing is, now what you just did now, if you didn't do anything else, that would still look really good. I think
it could work, but
yeah, I know you're a perfectionist.
But we'll take it a little bit further. So
right.
So I'm gonna.
You want it to be awesome.
I'm lightly blending because he's got a little more facial hair on the side there. I had it for a while, but I shaved it off. I'm gonna let it grow back. So I just lightly, start bringing it in. Again, I'm not touching any of my features. I'm keeping away from them because once I lose my features, then it's no longer me, and then it will become, not looking like me. So,
yeah, then it'll be. Do you ever try to do it so it looks half you, half the other person? Or you just want full person? Almost?
I want the full person. I want whatever the person is to be prominent. Whoever is I'm doing.
And that comes from the eyes mostly, right?
Yeah. So, and that's the whole of it. That's why I said you don't want to change the eyes, because the eyes are usually the personality of the person, and
the windows to the soul.
And so that's going to be the identifying mark. So no pun intended. Actually doing Mark, and that's the. So once I got that, now actually, it wasn't too far off with coloring, but I brought in, I don't know if you can tell on there, but I added a little bit of color in there to kind of make it a little closer in tone, and then did some lightening just to bring it back out again, to push it back out. So, once I did that, now I was done with me. So then.
So was yours easier, or which one was easier to do? Yours or mine? Is it hard to say?
Mine was actually a little easier. It was a little quicker. Yours actually wasn't bad though.
Well, it helps when you pick someone that people think I look like. So that's
that's true.
He's like, well, oh my God, no! Wait, let me take a picture of that. Oh,
here, that's what I got it from.
I could do. Oh, nice! See that picture? I took that picture, and I'm like, that picture actually. Thought I was crazy, but that picture came in handy. I'm glad came in handy.
That was a throwaway shot.
That was well, I don't know if it's a throwaway shot. It was that was after watching Heather Faye and Ryan Mid-Sickle perform, and I was just like, let me go do a kind of. So, cool.
But as you can see, though,
let me try to do it again.
Oh.
I have better hair than that. I need a haircut. No, that's what that picture is telling me. So.
So with you, let's get rid of everything.
That's cool. So how did you literally have to go through my entire photo album? Because I have so many pictures.
Yeah, you do. And
so I feel bad.
No,
I don't really feel bad. But
I did, and I went through and actually. This one was near the top, so actually this one wasn't, and it was like waiting for me today when I went in there. I was like, oh, thank you. All right.
The universe worked.
Yes. So I dropped it in there. Same thing.
Holy cow!
So
why did somebody tell me my eyebrows could go up that high? Yeah, that's pretty cool. That picture, you actually probably can use that picture for one of the superhero movies, or like a villain or.
That's true. So there we are with that. Well, I wanted to stretch your face up higher, but I wanted to keep some of his skin tone. So what I did was.
Who's got better skin tone? Is it him? Is that word?
What's that?
I was gonna make you a judgment. Ah! Ah!
I wanted his skin tone, but his eyes were in the way. It's like what was it from The Crows? I want her eyes. They're like doll's eyes.
See, you remember the scary quotes, the scariness.
So I took, if I didn't have that there.
It's funny because I sang African Child. It says I'm trapped inside a little African child, but here I'm trapped inside a big Jonah Hill. Help! I can't get out! See, and so now for everyone that thinks that I look like Jonah Hill, you can tell that
You
I
do
don't look.
not.
I do not look like Jonah Hill.
So again,
Oh,
I
the
needed
hair, maybe the hair
the hair
occasionally.
a little bit. A little lighter on this picture than yours.
Yeah, it is later.
So again, I wanted the skin tone to match, so I dropped this in so it starts matching the skin tones, and then I needed to bring in some other shading and stuff. So with add a little bit of more flesh tone, because flesh isn't just one color; it's a combination of
Unless you're me
colors.
and you're just
So
pale.
exactly, or the two
So is it better? I
opposite.
mean, is it harder when someone's darker or lighter, or I guess it depends on
Again,
what.
yeah, it depends on the picture. If I can, like I just did with yours, what I'll do is if I need the skin tone from what was below or the skin texture, sometimes it's the texture of the skin. I will do that. I'll completely get rid of the features of the original picture. Whatever was there, I'll get rid of it completely, and then start layering the person I'm using on top of it. So that way I can brush away the part of the person I'm using skin and have the other skin behind it, but I'm not taking their features away. I'm only just taking the skin away. I'm just peeling back the skin away from the face. There I go, creeping out again. So we added the skin tone, and then we added the skin tone there, but I wanted a little more sharpness out of it. It was a little didn't quite I wanted a little more punch, so I duplicated the layer and then put a high pass filter, so it kind of pulled out some of your features a little more and defined them a little more in the face area and stuff. Then I wanted to obviously change the names, so and the title down there. So this took care of that. So I got rid of all the names with a layer.
Oh, nice. I
And
was
then
actually muted. I was muted while you were talking, and I was like, "Oh, that's why." 'Cause I'm
okay.
muted. No, I was gonna say, are those eyebrows the final position, or were they a little bit lower, or am I just not?
No, those are your eyebrows.
Yeah, cool.
Nope, those are your eyebrows, and that was the final position.
Sweet.
So I got rid of all the lettering, and then brought in my own. So then build up here. You can
Cool.
see, and then actually, just all I added was got rid of their line, LA to or London to LA. It's to Tampa to Google Plus, down at the bottom. Then this wasn't even the finished. So from here.
If you're watching his Hangout Conversations, we got Mark Rodriguez, Movie Mashup Tuesday. He's taking us through his poster process.
So
Black screen. Black screen. Yeah, no, you're good. I'll entertain people with a bite. Here, take a look at my chicken. All right.
So here, now we're over in Lightroom, and I usually finish everything in Lightroom. I start in Photoshop, do all my compositing work, and then I come over into Lightroom and add everything. So what I'll show you what it looked like before. Excuse me. Develop mode. Camera. And then we'll reset it. So this is what it looked like when we came in, and then this is after working with stuff. So let me go Lightroom. Oops. That's before.
Pre-bake your oven to 340.
Before, after.
Nice.
So
The light definitely helped.
Final piece.
So how long would you say this piece took you to do, give or take?
This was about 15, 20 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get it out, but I was working today. Actually, was recording today. Let me unscreen share. Was doing.
He's back.
I'm back. Was actually doing, along with my animations, I actually do the character voices for some of the characters on there.
Can you give us some previews? A couple of lines?
Hello, I'm Professor Von Schmohawk, and welcome to YU. So I'm like a swarmy British professor kind of guy on the what I do. So it's
Cool.
my my client was a philanthropist over in Orlando, and he's real big into math and science and physics and things like that. And so he wants what we're building is a library of animations to help facilitate learning for like entry-level college and maybe upper-level high school students. So it's all math. We finished the full course on pre-algebra, and now we're actually getting into algebra. So we're getting.
You actually have to come up with the lessons, or they give you.
He comes up with the script and what the lesson's going to be about, and then he gives them to me, and we go over them, and I say, well, because if I'm terrible with math, so if I don't understand something, I can't animate it because I got to understand it. So we'll go over it until I understand it, and a lot of times me not understanding it actually helps him be able to write it better, because he's thinking, because he knows it, that everyone should know this, and this, and I'm like, I don't know that, I don't assume that, because he'll do that, like, well, everyone should have just assumed that. No, they shouldn't. That I don't know what that is. So it actually
he thinks you learned it in high school and then it stays in your brain for the rest of your life.
Exactly, and I never even learned it in high school. I'm terrible at math. So
you're like, but I can manage my checkbook when I have some money.
If I only had money, I could manage my checkbook.
I'll see you in Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. All right.
So, but yeah, so I was trying to do, this. I was recording, and my daughters came home, and
your two daughters, who I just shared the two where you give them two knives, and they tried to stab each other for the waffle.
Yeah, that was for the Christa Ray's scavenger hunt this past one, and that was a lot of fun. Actually, there's one ongoing. I don't have any shots done yet.
How long? So your daughters are twins. And so how long did it take you to get them to came up with the idea? How, and do they fight over waffles? Like what, and how long before to set them up and get the knives in their hands?
I had a couple ideas originally for what I was going to do for that item was breakfast. That was one of the items on the list was breakfast, and I had a couple. I was going to do one. My original one was going to actually make huge pancakes and build a stack that went like over their heads and have both of them sitting there, and all you saw was the fork and knife in their hand, and like just this big huge stack of pancakes with syrup dripping. It would have been cute. It was too safe though. I was like, I
must kill you.
And I was they eat Eggo waffles. I mean, actually, we buy the Publix brand. We don't actually buy name brand.
Wow, that's
don't
fine.
tell them. Anything.
It's too late. We've already showed Jonah Hill's face. It's over.
It's over. So I was just and I remember back to my youth and the old Eggos commercial where Lego my Eggo, and people would fight over it and try and figure out ways to get the other one to let it go, and so I just ramped that up to 11, and it was like, okay, let's see who really wants the Eggo the most. And as soon as I told them what we were going to do, their eyes lit up like, we get to hold knives. I was like, big. Well, originally actually I was going to have like one of them having a knife, one had like an axe or something. I was like, I wanted to
remind everyone they're 8 years old, right? Or were they 8 when you took this, or 7?
Yeah, they're 8 years old. And so I was like, nah, I want it to be something that they would have had accessible in the kitchen, kitchen knives. So they both had monstrous knife, and set up the toaster on the countertop there and shot away, and they got to eat the waffle when it was done. They both got waffles. I have the pictures of them, happily eating their own waffles when it was done. So
it's an awesome shot. Talk to me a little bit about that conversation. We said, honey, I'm putting knives in our kids' hands.
My wife's pretty good
cool.
with, just knowing. Well, she nothing surprises her when I say I'm going to do something in a shot. And then the other thing that's funny is when she walks in on me and I'm in my garage and I've in some either weird configuration or weird, get up or whatever. And she just, opens up the garage door and just sort of, okay. And then closes the door back behind her. Like,
have you ever gotten some of the like the picture of her reaction when she's like does that, or it's too quick? You
No,
ever?
it's too quick.
Uh,
And, my camera's usually on a tripod set up somewhere, so I
should
can't
like
get
have
shit done.
that's when you have the smartphone. You're like, wait,
Yeah,
hold it.
I'm getting better with my my behind the scenes shots where you take a shot of your setup so you can then kind of show others how you did it. And actually,
How to's.
it's the hardest thing is remembering to do it. Because when I'm working, especially with the photography, I work really fast. Like if something's not working, I'll break it down, and I just work fast till I get the solution and get what I want. And so a lot of times I just forget. I'm like the shot's over. I break everything down. I'm like, fuck, I forgot to shoot. I forgot to shoot the setup. What I was doing, but I was real conscious of it on this scavenger hunt. And
And it's tough because you're spending all your focus and energy making sure that your actual project and work is right. So you're not.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's tough. But yeah, I always want to do with movies to behind the scenes pictures and video and stuff. But you're like, well, if I'm doing that, well then what about all the stuff that's actually the movie has to get made? And
Yeah.
you're like, oh god, all right. But then you're like, well, I wish I did that because then I had more promotional material. And so it's a catch-22.
It'd be a cool gig to have though. To be they usually most studios, the bigger ones, whatever, hire, a production still person that's all they do is take pictures of the set, what's going on, and occasionally they'll just have everybody right after a take just stand there for a second, and just get a shot. I mean, that would be a pretty choice job. It'd be
Yeah, it's
cool
pretty
just
cool. Yeah, and it
to
makes
hang out.
sense. They get them
Yeah.
like right in the scene, so it
Yeah.
matches usually the movie.
That's
A lot
where
of
you
times.
get some of those really really cool, where the whole cast is laughing at something, just some of those things. Shots are just excellent. You see just them being, not actors, just being just hanging out.
Being people. We need
They're real
people.
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 They're eating people.
Soylent Greens.
People.
So,
They're
not to move away from movies, but Manly Mondays, how did that come to be? And it started as a hashtag, right?
It started as
Everything starts as a hashtag.
yes, exactly. That one actually kind of started as a joke, and I think I'm the one that actually started the joke, and it was during Women Wednesday, which is a great theme, and the conversation started heading that way. Why don't guys have that? And I said, well, yeah, we could have Manly Mondays, and it just kind of stuck. And then next thing I know, Alan Shapiro had put a page together, and it was me and Barry and Zhao, and we were all of a sudden we had a lead, had a page going, and it started off kind of strong, and we kind of just let it run, just do its own thing. And we still get people that post to the tag, and we still try and comment, when they come through and stuff, but we don't, moderate it or reshare or anything like that. But it's still a cool theme, and we still get some, really good shots that come through.
And I've hurled with Alan Shapiro, and he is manly.
He's awesome.
No, he is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. He was, when I was hurling with him, we were doing the photo op, Lotus Carol, and it was for the moment. He was like, "Wait a second, you're that guy, right? Yeah, you're that guy. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh. That was Alan Shapiro. But we hugged, and he's like, "I love you." So everything's fine. So Manly Mondays, and then of course Blast from the Past. That is a big one.
Yeah, Blast from the Past. Blast from the Past.
Have another one.
I got two more sitting here. That was started by Cheryl Cooper, and it's myself as a curator, and also Isabel.
Stop using the big words. Just say we work on it.
Yeah, brought to you by.
Presented by. You're still stuck in that like British professor mind. You're like, I gotta be too smart.
It's curated by. Yes. Yeah. So we, so that's that goes on every Thursday. Originally, we had that as a non-day theme, and I mean, it just exploded. I mean, I don't think any of us thought, knew exactly what was going to happen with that theme, and it just exploded, and it was just too much. It was like, no, we got to somehow contain this to a day, because it was just overwhelming. I mean, because everybody's got old pictures, everybody's got nostalgia, everybody's got old pictures, and everybody wants to share them. I mean, because they're great. I mean, you can, just every week something comes through, and you're just like, damn, it's either hilarious, it's a great old shot of the way someone was dressed, or just they pulled a funny face as they were doing it, or just the setting is awesome. I mean, you just every week you see something new that you still just like, God, that's awesome, you know. So this week actually was we had a theme of a sub theme of hot moms. So it was, you know,
Nice.
it was moms, and so you know that was kind of cool.
So tell people exactly. It's people find their old pictures, right?
Yeah, you go through and, you know, go get those, you know, shoe boxes down out of the closet, and, you know, old photo albums, and,
Or under
you
their
know,
bed.
throw them on the scanner bed, or, you know, some people even, you know, take shots of them with, you know, cameras and stuff, and you put, you know, just post them, and you know, tag we three curators and the page, and we tried today making it an event, so people, it's easier for people just to post photos of the page. Still not crazy about events. They're not there to me
Yeah,
just
we can
yet.
get into that. Yeah, but what you're saying is correct. I had an art event, and I think that it would be great to have maybe not an event, but some kind of collaborative, collective album, like a Pinterest type thing, where people just keep posting pictures to the
Right.
one
Because
thing.
I mean, it works that way. But what I don't like, you know, you have a choice. You can either put words or you can put a picture. And if you put a picture, then you got to try and quickly be the first one to comment to add any kind of, you know,
You can't
comment to
put. You
that
should be
picture.
able to put words above the picture,
Yeah,
like you do in a
exactly. At
post.
least something, you know, at least something to do that and add to it. But, you know, so it's not perfect yet. And also, when you do post a picture to the gallery, it posts it twice, and it like double posts it. So then you got people commenting on two different pictures and plus wanting two different pictures, and it's kind of confusing. So, you know, people are thinking, why the hell does this guy keep posting the same damn
And
picture?
you bring
I
up an
already saw it.
interesting point too, because if you make a whole album, that's one thing. But if you post one picture, right, the comments you post in post are different than the comments when you click on the picture, right? I think.
Yeah, like the you know, like there's the stream on the page that's just a collective stream, and then
Right.
if you click on the picture, you're commenting on that picture, you know,
Right. But if you
specifically.
only post one picture, they're still different, right? Or
There's still, it still posts twice, you know, there's one picture but there's two pictures. So I guess that might be what it is one is going into that gallery,
and
and
one is
then
for the
one is
posts.
on the page itself. So there, you know, there's two separate
Yeah.
posts of an image, and, you know, you're chasing both of them back and forth, you know, trying to, you know, comment back on when people comment on it, and you're like, oh, I got a +1, and you're looking at it like, well, I thought they already
Yeah, you're like, I did
done
that,
that.
but wait, I'm interacting again. So
Yeah.
what? So Blast from the Past, how many? There's no way you could possibly. Is it hundreds of pictures, or what are we talking?
Oh, easily. Yeah,
Thousands?
yeah. I mean, early on it was probably in the thousands till we kind of culled it back, but we get a couple hundred. I don't know. I think Cheryl keeps tabs on the numbers each week, but I know, you know, when we first brought it out, I mean, it was just, it
Kaboom.
was an all day, you know, every other minute our notification was blowing up with another, you know,
Now you know what,
blast from the
and
past.
you know what I find. I find that I mean, stuff is cool, but I think people really like new things. So it's like it's new, it's fresh. It's like that's why like when events came out, not that things aren't, not that your Blast from the Past isn't awesome all the time, but every time something's new, a new idea, people like jumping on it. And something like events, for instance, everyone was like, "Oh my God, everyone's inviting me to the event of awesome," and
Right.
so everyone's getting tons of events and a lot going on at once.
Yeah.
And you pour yourself another one to
Yes,
pour on
sir.
camera if you want. That's all right. Um, there he is. Wait, I was going to take a picture. Picture this. There we go. All right. There we go. And Lee also does a Friday night beer craft hangout. Just a shout out to him.
Really? I
Yeah,
make my own beer too.
oh, nice. He would love to have you on that a Friday night. They talk about, they go through IPAs and hops and all that stuff and different kinds of
Nice.
beers. And they would love that.
This isn't. I need to go up and get. I need to get up and go get a new kit for the next batch. I'm out right now, so I'm out of my own beer.
I'm out.
Out.
I'm out. So,
Out.
and your the last prominent page, or maybe there's more. I'm not, but the G Plus profiling project was your first page that you started project.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones, and that was another one of those ones that kind of went from one to the other, and then it became something, because originally on, myself and Kim Pemberton, we were going back and forth because she was gonna do, actually, she was gonna spoof Lotus Carol's avatar, and I was gonna spoof um, Jake Easley's avatar, and again, I'm a slacker, and I kept putting off. Oh, well, I'll do it next week. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do it next. I still haven't actually done it. I'm going to. I swear. I kept going. Wait, one more. One more week. And in that time, there was a bunch of the ladies actually used a Selfie Sunday and spoofed all the guys. They took a lot of our more known selfies from previous Selfie Sundays and spoofed us in Selfie Sunday. And it was Christine Lowry's brainchild, and she got all these girls together completely. The guys had no idea it was going to happen. All of a sudden started seeing, I saw one of me, someone, Tana Teal had done me, my Jesus Christ, my Godriguez pose, with me with my Christmas lights on, and there was, they just completely, spoofed us, and so it was like, it kind of deflated what we were going to do. It was like, oh shit. It was like, and actually Kim was part of that, and she had to bite her tongue about what we were talking about because they were in the process of doing it. So they did it, and then we guys did it back to them a little later. We spoofed them during a Selfie Sunday. So then I finally,
revenge is the best. Is a dish best served cold.
So finally, it was like, all right, let me put the page together, and then I started culling all the duplicates, and I'd get them, and then I actually pair them together, and then post them on the page, so you see the original, and then you see the spoof. So they're side by side in the same image. You don't have to keep going from one profile to another. And
so basically, are there some people that do that for you, or most people just post the spoof and you do that?
I do all that. I put it together and post it to the page, and I haven't posted any in a while. I've got a little bit of a backlog.
Although I did just post the the one of Thomas Hawk, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Olaf Fallen did Thomas Hawk not too long ago, and I put those two together. But if you go to the page, you'll see, there's just a ton of them, and they're so well done. There's so many of them, and just people just really do just an amazing job with it. And it's a lot harder than it seems. They just did it this way. But when you're trying to match someone's lighting and their exposure and everything else, it's difficult. It's very difficult, and just some of the ones are so dead on. It's awesome.
Does anyone do what you do with the movie Mashup, where they literally just take their picture and then they just put their face in the picture? Does that happen yet?
I don't.
Because then they wouldn't have to worry about getting the light right and everything, because it would be right. They would just get the face.
That's true. I don't think anyone has
done
yet.
that. Yeah.
That's an idea, though.
That's a good idea if you want to. Yeah, you can mess around with that. But I know that last night or the other night, Andre Ward did the Miami Vice one with I think it was both of us, or no? Oh, it was me. Oh, it was me and him. Sorry. Andre Ward did a Miami Vice mashup with me and him in that. So he was inspired, I think, from you, which was cool. Have to find it, but so yeah, that's pretty cool. So that makes me think about the Google Plus and its features, and you think about, yeah, we have all these pages and great, the curations and all that, but people don't know about these pages. If there was a spot where they can just click on it, it opens them up like okay, this is like all the pictures that's ever been posted about Manly Monday. You can look through all different categories instead of, because they don't know what to search for, and I think that might be better for them to be able to just click open an album and see it.
Well, that's what's still missing with
that community.
With the pages is that, because one, you as a even as a page owner, you have no control over the gallery whatsoever of your galleries. You can't control them. You can't necessarily organize them. You can delete pictures. That's about the most you can do, and you can add pictures to them. But that means you have to go in every time someone uploads a picture, go in, download it to your computer, and then re-upload it there. No one can actually download to a gallery like the way the Selfie Sunday project worked is on drawing blanks again.
Don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay. You're not going to lose points. I stumbled too.
Jeff Smith.
What's with that haircut?
Jasmine.
The dude abides. What era?
um, on Jeff Smith's page, he would create a gallery, a personal gallery that then in Picasa would allow people to be able to download too. So he could then share that gallery with everybody, but it allowed people access to be able to download into it. When you own a page, you don't have a Picasa site to do that. There is no back end editing area that you can work with.
And I also think a lot of people aren't used to Picasa and Google Plus together, like most of the non-photographers,
Right.
not people that do stuff. They're like,
yeah, you think you're going into some foreign world, but it's with, like I said, with his gallery, it worked out good because, like I said, it has a nice cohesion. You know where to go, you know where to put it. You know, as long as you've told him ahead of time, you know, you want to submit to it, he puts you on the share list, so you're allowed to upload to his gallery. But the pages don't have that yet, and that to me is one of the biggest things that's missing from them, is that because you really don't. They're just kind of running on their own. Like I can reshare people's posts to my page, to the movie mashup page or whatever, but I don't have any control over it. Now with the G Plus profiling page, since I do bring those images to my computer, pair them together, and then re-upload them, I at least know they're all in one gallery. So you can go into one gallery and look through all of them, but nobody can just upload their own to it. You know, what I would like is a gallery where people could upload their spoofs, and then I can grab them and then take them and put them, you know, there. What I would have to do is similar to what we've done with Movie Mashup Tuesday. The Faces gallery is actually one of my personal galleries on Picasa that people can upload their faces to. So it's one that I have control over because it's on my personal page. So it you know, it allows them to do it, but I have to allow them first. I have to add them to the shared list every time. You know, if it's somebody I'm not already following or circling, I have to add them, you know, into the okay. You know,
basically, it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not quick, and you know, it takes a while. And yeah, again, it'd be great to be able to say, okay. In fact, it'd be great to have a setting where you're like, all right, here's every photo, whether it's your personal photo or page photo. Let anyone you want edit the photo, and what would happen is they wouldn't edit. Your photo would be fine. If they edited it, then you get a notification saying so-and-so edited your photo. This is what it looks like. Do you approve it to be in your profile and whatever? And they would get credit. Something like that would be cool, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like right now, you can set it where you can approve or disapprove if someone tags you. You know, and it would be the same way. You know, it would be set up the same way. Like right now, if someone, you know, tags you, you can say yes or no to that tag. You know, yes, I approve that. I approve this message. I approve this tag.
I approve it. Yeah.
Anyway.
Although most people can right-click or download most photos and play with them if they really want to, I think. But it would just.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I get. That's how I get the faces a lot of times. If someone hasn't already downloaded them to them, like all yours, I went to your site, I went to your page, and just grabbed them from there, and then you know.
And Isabel Fortin, how do you say her name? Fortin is watching, and she said, "Do you know you have to be a little bit of a stalker?" I don't know if she talks like this. A little bit of a stalker if you want to be artistic.
Yes, you got to be a stalker. If you want to find the right shot, sometimes you got to be.
And it's all for the name of.
To delve in to people's galleries and hope that they've you know, got them available, you know, that you can get to them also, you know. So,
I will not be ignored. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. I'm gonna.
No.
If
Sooner or later. Yeah, nice. Yeah, there's a few. I know Byron Ripple with the zombies. A lot of people, you know, go after people. They're gonna come get you and either, you know, movie mashup or zombify, and it's a great way to get your own talent out there and your own self out there. In a fun way, in a way that involves a community that actually is, you know, what community is about. It's not about Mark Rodriguez or me. Exactly. It's about everyone. And so, you know, that idea that right somewhere right there, man. So that's what's awesome about it. I mean, to wake up one day and you're like, you see a picture of yourself as Joe Pesci or Jonah Hill or whoever, you're like, that is awesome. And if somebody doesn't think it's awesome, that's my terrible Christopher Walken. My father gave me the watch.
I had this piece of metal.
Yeah, but if people don't think it's awesome, then they're missing out. But I think that to be game for almost anything is what people like people that are willing to just put themselves out there and do stuff
Yeah,
that's
and
really cool
when we get
and fun.
requests, I always get requests. Can you can you do me can you do me?
Hey,
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 requests for yeah. Can you I try and at least myself, I try and spread the wealth, spread the joy, and
right.
if it's in the gallery, I try and systematically hit everybody through there one way or another, because I appreciate, and we as a team, we appreciate that people do that, because it gives people a starting point, because a lot of people, they're very intimidated and they're very scared that they're like, I don't want to do, people are going to get upset. But it gives people a starting point. Like, these people have said their heads are, they're there for your
Heads will
use,
roll.
yes. So they're your victims. I jokingly call people victims and then subject, but
Subjects, victims. No, you're good.
subject.
I say go for it. You've done a couple, I mean, you just did the the photographers. What, have you
Yeah.
gone for some of the bigger celebrities or Googlers or?
I've done I did Lotus.
Wait, I said bigger. No, I'm just kidding. Whoa, hey
uh,
Lotus. I met her too. She's nice.
she's great.
She's good.
Um, the
That's cool.
like I said, I generally
Community is better. People, yeah.
I've stayed mostly with the ones. I mean, I've almost done all of the kind of stuff. Yeah, I've done.
I've done that guy, this guy, next.
They did that one. They did that
You
one.
take care of the thing? Which thing? The first thing or the second thing?
The thing. That thing. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's so hard. Sorry. Yeah, it took care of it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
You took care. You did the deed.
About it. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing photography and art? Like, how did you decide to go down this path or this yellow brick road?
Well, I was a rock star.
You were a rock star, and then your
I
voice got shot.
Yeah, I was in. Then I took an arrow to the knee.
And then you were all like wasted in rehab, and Joe and Aaron couldn't get you to play the concert.
Exactly. It was my behind the music story. No, I was in bands since high school, or later high school, and I tried that as much as possible, and we played the circuit here in the Tampa area, and got to do some cool shows. We opened up for some cool acts. Got to play with Pantera and Yngwie Malmsteen and Sabotage.
Wow, what was that like?
Cool
Did
shows.
you feel what year? We're talking 80s, 90s.
It was probably with Pantera. It was. I don't know.
He's like, I won't tell you. All right, so what was that like?
It was the Cowboys from Hell tour. So it was their first real tour.
And what did you? What was your? What you play guitar? You sang? What were we talking about?
Bass, bass player. My brother was the vocalist, and it was awesome. We played a couple thousand people in front of us. Just they obviously they didn't hate us because they were into it.
And you made a record or two?
We had made some demo tapes here and there. Nothing major. In fact, I don't actually even have any of our material. My brother still has it. I need to get.
Could you reunite the band for one hangout, or that would sound terrible?
Well, it'd be hard because we were like Spinal Tap. We went through drummers like it was nobody's business. They would just spontaneously combust, and to be a little globule on the street.
I'm sure you can find a drummer in the Florida area off Google Plus, maybe.
Well, I'm still friends with our original drummer. Actually, our original drummer back in the day, and actually just recently got reunited back with my guitarist. And he'd been through some hardships in his life, all through his own doing. It was all his own doing, but he's on the road to recovery, and he's keeping himself clean now. And of course, my brother was the singer, so I still know where he lives.
I know where you live, and I'm coming for you. Or pizza will send out for you.
But we did it as long as we could, and then that band broke up, and then kind of kicked around with some other bands here and there, and just jumped from band to band.
Did you guys just play original, or did you guys cover any songs?
We were probably 95% original, and then we would throw like some like obscure covers in there. Like we were doing, actually got the time before Anthrax was doing it, and we did Crazy Horses by the Osmonds, but like totally metaled out version
Right.
of
I was gonna say
Crazy
not like
Horses, and
Osmonds.
we'd cover bands like Power Mad and stuff, real obscure bands that most people didn't know who they were, and but yet they
Can
was
you
in the
give
scene.
us? Can I know you were the bassist, but can you give us like 2 lines of a lyric that one of your favorite lyrics or
I don't even think
something?
I remember
You don't
any.
remember any of the any of the
I
names
wasn't
of
I wasn't the
songs?
singer. Well, we had Pieces of Reality was a song. We had Darkness, of course.
So dark. Oh, Darkness was an actual song. We actually
Yes,
talked about
Darkness
Darkness.
was an actual song. We had Pieces of Reality. Then in some of the latter bands, we had a song called Trees, which actually was.
You
Actually,
had a song called Tree. A metal band had a song called Trees.
Trees could scream. I didn't finish
Oh,
it.
okay. You didn't. Okay, that's
Trees
a
could
little bit.
scream.
That's still funny, but not as funny as.
Yeah, it
We,
was.
we'd like to play a song called Trees.
Yes, I'm the man. Wait, the Rush all of a sudden. Well, actually, that song, the like when we first would start the song, the line was, if trees could scream, how deafening it would be. So it was like, if all the trees started screaming when they were being cut down, it'd be all freaking crazy or whatever. But
They'd be
yeah,
like, "Leave me alone."
it's
Rim shot.
so, but we were metal. We were kind of we were like at times like Death Angel. We were Queensryche. We were kind of that melodic,
And so were you? So
very
you were.
epic. Just cha 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 cha, and then our songs sometimes were 10, 13,
How did you go
14
from
minutes long.
Garage to opening for Pantera? Is that a long story or
No, we just persistence. We played around the
MySpace?
area, and
Oh, it's from MySpace. My
this was
bad.
way
Way.
this
Not
was
even bulletin boards.
demo
Yeah.
demo cassettes, making like duplicates on your
And
on your
yeah.
cassette player, and then slapping a
Do you guys have like that rock star? You must have a couple of group shots you can pull up and post. You've already posted them, or like a blast from the past.
Actually,
Or
I've
did
got
you?
one. Yeah, I've got a couple actually in blast from the past. There's
Let's go
one
look.
reoccurring one of myself that keeps getting bumped every once in a while. It gets re bumped every once in a while. Back in
What
back in
are you
the
doing
stream.
now? Is there things? Is it just to have crazy hair, or
I've got here. Let me see if I'll find it. I'll post the link to
why
you.
don't you just find the picture and share it so
I
people can
will.
see it?
That's it. Let's see. Blast from the past. No, I
See, and that's another feature I would love. I would love to be able to type in the group chat, type like the search term, and literally the picture comes up, and I can click right in the chat, screen share, ba-bang, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about crazy. I guess that's crazy features. Like that's hard, Matt. You don't know what it's like to program. I know it's hard, but
make it work.
make it so. Number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
Who is number 2? Who is number 1? You are number 6. I am not a number. Why am I not? All right. Let's see.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. Let's see. I'll try and make it big on this screen and then screen share. And desktop.
You're gonna die, oh my God, is that you?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oops.
Holy cow. How, and wait, is that like you at 19? What are we talking about?
Nah, I was probably
22?
21. I was probably I was drinking in bars, so I was probably about 22 there.
Doesn't look like you were drinking. It looks like you were doing crunches and ab sit-ups all day.
I used to build pools. I was the pool boy.
OMG. Is there a pool are there pool boy stories we can talk about?
Nah, I wish.
No, you never even had one pool boy story where the woman was, and you're like, I would not.
The only pool boy story was.
But you had the mullet too.
Yeah, hold on. Let me. I was trying to bring up.
Mark Rodriguez. You've never seen it before. Behind the music, definitely not music.
It doesn't seem to like this picture. There it comes.
Oh yeah, sometimes the pictures will just be black, and I feel like I have to delete them. They're actually here. That's kind of Silent Scream. Is that the name of your band?
Yeah, we were Silent Scream.
So no one can actually ever hear you. It sucks.
Nope. So that's my brother.
So okay.
Me. That's my guitarist I just got back with. This was one of our drummers.
So
mini.
So it looks like two two, not you, but the two of them look like they could be like musketeers or pirates, right? With the white shirt, the puffy,
the poofy shirt.
the poofy,
You wore the poofy shirt.
the poofy.
I can't believe
That's
I wore
awesome.
the poofy shirt.
That's so okay. So how do you go from? Were you doing like artwork and drawing like covers of posters and CDs then, or what? How did you? Where did?
I've always done art. Always did it in school and stuff. And my parents were always, supportive of it, and especially my mom. She was a type of artist. She was an artist as well. So was my grandfather. Her father was a watercolor artist and a mural painter. Actually, some of his murals are still in some of the restaurants down here in Ybor City. And my mother was a floral artist. She would make these like crazy, these floral arrangements. They would give her a theme, and she would have to build something out of flowers that tied into the theme. So I think that's where I get my at times kind of abstract thinking, because it was completely thinking out of the box. You'd have to look at, build something out of flowers that, made
You're like the
sense.
MacGyver of all art.
Well, that's how it was. She
MacGyver.
and she would, build all this stuff. So, so I always did art, and so that was always Plan B. It was always always waiting there for me. It's like, okay, and I would say it all the time. It's like, if I don't become a rock star, I'm gonna be an artist. It was like, it's gonna be.
And then all the band members were, "What do you mean, dude? We are artists, yeah."
We're yes, exactly. That was always the running joke. It's like, what do you call a guy who hangs out with musicians? A singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my brother didn't like that one.
Did he not play guitar?
No, he didn't play any instruments.
There are now more and more singers that do play guitar.
Oh no, absolutely. But she, my parents always supported it, and that was always my, I always said, and so I did. And like I said, after the one band that I was in for the longest time, we were probably together almost 8 years, kicking around, and doing all our, the kind of cool shows, and then we disbanded, and then a little later I got back with my brother again in another band, and we did some, good shows again, did some big shows and got a good following, and then that band disbanded. And then I was in a couple some industrial kind of Skinny Puppy Ministry type bands at the end.
Wait. Skinny Puppy Ministry. I'm sorry. Don't translate that for me. Skinny Puppy. I don't know that.
Kind of industrial, a lot of samples and a lot of kind of very, very distorted guitar and synthesizer and a lot of, like I say, a lot of oversamples and loops. And
you could still pick up a bass and pretty much do what you want with it, right? If you wanted to, or no?
Yeah, I haven't played in so long.
It's like my fingers have recovered from that.
I don't have the calluses anymore. Every once in a while, I'll be somewhere and someone will
slap in the bass
or whatever, and I'll be like, okay, and I'll kind of play, but
you're like, boom, no Green Day.
My fingers are hurting the next day. I'm like,
is it sad that when I think of bass, I think of either Green Day song or Seinfeld? Is that right? Right. It's like, what? There's more to bass than just that. All right, so cool. So you went to art school and then in Atlanta?
I went to art school up in Atlanta, Art Institute of Atlanta. Went up there for.
And it was hot. Very hot.
Hot Atlanta. I loved Atlanta though. It's a great city.
They have I heard some great club names like a Devils something. They got good chicken wings and strippers, right? Anyway.
We got good strip clubs here. Actually, we're world famous, known for our strip clubs.
Your Octomom strippers and stuff, yeah.
We've got the Mons, we've got 2001, we got 7Cs, we got some of the world renowned fully nude clubs. Actually, a couple of them used to be the dancers used to be my roommates, but.
You're like, can you please buy me dinner since you make more money than I make in like 6 months in a night?
They would. They weren't actually girlfriends, but they were just friends or whatever. Because the
Well, how do you be a girl? How do you be a boyfriend? How do you be a stripper's boyfriend? That's kind of tough, I guess.
Well, I mean, I had friends that had stripper girlfriends or whatever, but the strippers all hung out with the musicians, so they because back then the guys in the bands and the long hair, that's who they hung out with. That you'd go into the strip club, and they knew where the money was at. They were going to be over with the business guys or whatever, or the big back, they'd be over there getting the money, and then at the end of the night they'd go party with us. So it was like,
they're like, we got the money from the limos, and now we're with you guys.
Exactly. Then they had all the money, and we go to the bottle clubs or whatever, and drink the rest of the night. So
awesome.
Yeah,
it was the life, and you do some other stuff.
Yeah. So, but
champagne in the back room. What?
Oh,
no sex.
No sex in the
no
champagne room. No sex in the champagne room.
Oh no! Stop! You're gonna get us taken off. No.
Oh shit! I forgot.
It's fine. You're right. You'll be right. Let's do some tough stuff. This is gonna be. I don't even know if you know offhand. I don't know offhand. But do you know what your top 5 favorite movies of all time are, or 2 or 3 or 4?
I
know you don't have to. Well,
I could sit here and
name a million.
And then
movies.
I'd go, oh, but wait. I mean,
all right, we don't need to.
One that I always, I'm just a huge fan for Apocalypse Now. I think that's one of the most beautifully made movies. I mean, yes, it's bloody and gory, but just the cinematography in that movie and just the dialogue and then the lack of dialogue. There's so many good, just quiet moments in that movie that are just perfect. I mean,
and do you think movies now don't really have those as much anymore, right? They've kind of got rid of that kind of style. Mostly.
I mean, you get some here and there, but I mean, I love.
I mean, Malick.
Everything, but I like just about everything. Kubrick, because again, I love those silent moments. There's just something about it where you're waiting for something to happen, or you just there's just that airiness, that openness.
I love Kubrick too. I would say for the most, I'm not, and who am I to judge Kubrick, criticize Kubrick, but I would say. But I'm going to do it anyway. For the most part, I think his silences are all great, but I do think there are certain things here and there in certain movies, 2001, where it's all right, we get the point.
Yeah, that one was a little overdrawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little
sometimes
overdrawn
it's
on the silent moments where it was too much, where you're like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I get I fast forwarded through the Monkeys. I mean, after watching it for about 10 minutes, I was like, all right, ready to.
Okay, we're gonna throw the bone already. Come on. Okay, let's do it. Throw the bone.
Yeah, exactly. But he was an amazing director. All right, so what about? This might be easier. Is there a movie that is by far the biggest piece of dog do and awful, and you wish is one that comes to mind? That I know for me, it's mostly any movie that Bill Cosby's in. Leonard Part 6. God for kill me. Ghost Dad. I don't know why I watched it, but Spice World.
I'm trying to think of just.
There was a remake. How they did a Halloween remake with LL Cool J. It was God. I wanted my money back. I was like, I stood up. I was like, that's the ending. That's it. It's terrible. The sequel to Addams Family. I don't know why they. I mean, I didn't like it anyway.
I don't know.
I know it's I put you on the spot. All right, it's fine. You don't need to. What about is TV or cartoons easier, or should I go right? I'll go right to the G4. This is a Sophie's choice. This or that. Coco Pepsi. No wrong answer. You don't have to choose. This is gonna be very. I started with some tough ones. Baseballs or History of the World Part 2. Was it Part 1?
It was Part. Yeah, it was Part 1.
It was Part 1.
I kept waiting. I'd have to say History of the World.
Better than Spaceballs. Yeah. Is that your favorite Mel Brooks? I mean, Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein is ungodly.
Producers,
awesome too.
Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick when you have a director when you have such amazing stuff.
Yes, and they're funny for so many different reasons. I mean, but probably of all of them, maybe Blazing Saddles. I don't know. That's a remote dropper for me. I mean,
I'm giving you Sophie's choice. Yeah, it's not your fault.
I'm gonna drop. I'm watching this. Yeah.
I'm watching. Yeah,
Blazing Saddles is on. I'm done. Drop the remote. Yep.
I feel that way too about Shawshank because it's always on. The music draws me in. Andy Dufresne and the narration. Morgan Freeman. It's not fair. What? He just vanished like a fart in the wind. Like a fart in the wind. He must have said something. When he escapes. I've seen that movie so many times. HDR or black and white? Is that an easy choice as far as pictures go?
I'm a huge black and white fan.
Black and white.
I do most. I mean, I do a bit of black and white, but usually throw tinges of color in there, a little sepia.
Like a focal black and white,
Yeah,
which is what Google Plus gives us.
that?
I think there's a Google Plus focal black and white. That's my photography talk. My effects on Google Plus.
I mean, I'm not an HDR hater by any means, and I mean, sometimes people say, I do some treatment on mine that looks HDR, but it's all one shot, but then just I do a lot of selective sharpening and stuff just because I like that edge, and it's only when necessary. I don't if it's.
Well, how do you feel about processing in general? You as a photographer, I mean, a lot of people will play with all their photos and all that, and then there are a lot of people that just put up. I've done both. That just put up the photo as raw. I mean, do you care? I mean, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very selective with what I post usually, and usually if I post something, I want something to go with it. I generally never just post something blindly. I always have either there's a story behind the picture, or maybe something funny happened, or there's a backstory with what was happening, when I got the picture, or there was an emotion that went with the picture. But I generally never just post anything blank and just let it ride. So it's a conscious decision of photo and words that go with it. So it's a marriage of the two, because I like when I have a story to kind of read into. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes a picture says it on its own, but when there's funny backstory or something, like I did a picture of it was basically a newborn, and she was dressed up as a mermaid in this little knit mermaid outfit, and the mother and I went out probably 20 yards offshore on this like jetty, and set the baby out there and was taking pictures out, I mean, way out in the water.
That is a ballsy mother.
And while we're doing it, the father is back at the beach with their other son and daughter, just freaking out, just like the whole time, just like freaking out. What are we doing? So that was something that.
How do you get a baby? Were we looking for a baby? How does that come to be? How do you go?
No.
I'm gonna get a baby. We're gonna put him in the middle of the ocean and take a picture.
I've got one client that's one of my. She's actually my nephew's sister-in-law, and she's one of my closest clients, and it's one that we always kind of collaborate, and she always kind of lets me have free reign and just respects my judgment on whatever we're going to do. And she, at first, we were going to do the baby in like a giant clamshell, like and have it out somewhere, look like because her name is Stella. I can't remember what her middle name is, but whatever it is, it translates to basically the
Stella.
And so it translates to the star of the sea, or sea star. And so we were going to do her in like I said, a big clamshell, and those things are not easy to find. And when you do, they're like $200, and you can't rent them. You got to buy them. And so we couldn't find one. So at the last minute, I was like, well, let's go. There's a place, a park here called Fort DeSoto. I was like, let's take her there and see what we can do. Let's get her by the water. And so we did. So we went out there, and I saw the jetty, and I was like, can we take her out there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, let's go.
Nice.
So we went out there, and I mean,
was there any time the baby was really at risk?
No, because the mother is literally just outside my frame. In fact, she was in most of my shots, and I had to crop her out. I mean, she's literally just outside the frame, and the baby was asleep, so she wasn't moving anyway. Set her, and there were no
sharks. There were no sharks around looking for some babies.
No sharks. There were some gulls, but we cleaned the rocks and wiped it off before we put the baby down. So there was no worry of any bird.
Except for the father going, what?
Exactly. Can I help you?
Oh, sweet. We have a visitor.
Would you like to come in and be on camera for a moment?
Is that one of your daughters? Oh, there. Oh, she's got a knife!
Ah!
Ah!
Why are you still awake at 10 o'clock at night? You're supposed to be in bed. It's school night. Well, you need to go be sleepy. It's nighttime.
Night
Night.
time.
Yes. Go sleep.
That we got to meet one of the stars of the knife Lego Echo.
I got another one. Looks just like her.
I heard about that. So,
Remember,
what was that like? So, when you found out you were having identical twins, was that first you're having twins, and then you're finding out that they're identical? That was kind of cool, or
we knew ahead of time they were adopted, and we knew when we were presented with them, that was one of the criteria we said we would accept was twins up to triplets. We said there's a whole, when you adopt, there's like this huge thing of what you would be comfortable with, not comfortable with, and there was a lot of checklist of things, and twins was one of them, the things we were open to. And one of my stipulations was they had to be newborns. That was the biggest thing for me, was I wanted to know from day one they were here, and I was responsible for them. So they were 5 days old when we brought them home. We when we went and picked them up, and went to the hospital and picked them up. And but yeah, we knew we were having twins, so it was pretty interesting, and it's been an interesting ride so far.
very interesting. Do they do any of the Parent Trap stuff? Do they ever get away with that?
Not with us, no.
No.
I totally know who's who.
Even if they ran around the house naked, you would know who they were, or
I know who they are.
not that they should.
Not to steal a Beastie Boys line, but I recognize the girlie from the back of their head. But I know them from behind their mannerisms, even who's doing what. Right. So even from, if they're doing something and their back's turned to me, I know who it is that's doing.
And are they close? Do they have that kind of twin thing, the twin powers, or the magical that everyone talks about?
Ed.
Is that the same one we met, or that's the other one?
That's the same one.
Same one. Okay. It'd be funny. It would have been hilarious if it was the other one.
It's about to be, I think, the other one. I think it's about to be both of them. Okay, it's not funny anymore.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are they coming? Are they coming in here? Oh, they're both gonna. Hello. You get to see both
dragging
of them.
the body.
Oh my God! You weren't supposed to kill your sister. That was just a picture.
Stand up. You're in here now. Stand up. And the kittens. Oh, we got the kittens too. You get the whole family. Get the whole menagerie. The whole
Rodriguez family. Hey, cat. Aw, what's the cat's name? Oh, there's another one! They're multiplying! It's like gremlins. Aw. This is the first time I've ever had twins on my show. Not twins at all, but identical. Hi! Aw.
This is Tina. Okay, girls. Seriously, it's a school night. Go to bed, please. Say good night. Say good night.
Good night, Gracie.
Say good night to the interwebs. Say good night, interwebs. Good night, G+.
Good night, Mickey Mouse.
Aw, sweet. She called me Mickey Mouse. I think that'll be on my resume. So let me go into the this or that we were doing. Okay, so Star Wars or Star Trek? Can you pick between those two?
I'm more Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
I watched Star Trek as a kid, but I'm definitely more Star Wars.
Do you have a favorite of each, like movie-wise? Which movie of Star Trek or Star Wars that you like the best?
The original Star Wars.
Empire?
Yeah. Huh? No, the first. Well, the fourth technically.
The New Hope. The New Hope. Cool.
Yeah.
And Wrath of Khan, probably everyone chooses that one. It's the best Star Trek.
That was a good Star Trek. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And pictures or photos or portraits. What do you like? What word do you like using when it comes to? Do you all of them, or is there one word you prefer? Photography, photos, pictures, portraits.
I usually just say I shoot people.
Nice.
With my Canon.
Is that why you have the picture with the camera to your head?
Yeah.
That was
a bit of an introspective piece actually, because it's a blessing and a curse to be a photographer, because it's something you love to do, but then all of a sudden everybody expects you to do it all the time. I've gradually become a photographer, with my family and stuff like that, and sometimes you start to feel obligated to always have it with you, and it can be sometimes feel almost like a burden at times. Like you feel if you bring it, you feel like you have to bring it, and then if you don't, you feel like you're letting people down. Like, oh, he didn't bring it.
So every time you come to like a picnic or an event or a family, they always look at you. They're like, "Ooh, you're gonna take the pictures, no?" Is it?
Yeah, well, you get that sometimes, but that was kind of early on. I think that's kind of it's kind of mellowed in time, and it's nothing that any of anybody ever did. It's all in my head. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It was an inner monologue that I was dealing with. Not that anybody ever said anything or even presented it. It was more something that I deal with in my head. Like I really do just want to go and enjoy my family. I don't want to think about taking shots. But then if I don't take my camera, I feel I really wish I had, because I really kind of wanted to take pictures here. So it's a double-edged sword. You feel obligated in ways, but at the same time you feel kind of where you're always feel like you have to do it all the time. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But I mean, I love taking pictures, and I love taking pictures of my family. So it's never been that. It's an inner, like I say, it's inner monologue.
And videos with your family, live web videos with your family too, live casts.
So that's what I was saying.
What were you saying?
I don't know where they get this from.
From you, maybe. What have you taught these kids? Quick! Somebody make a phone call.
Goodbye, Mickey. Goodbye, Mickey.
So I guess she enjoys Walt Disney. Have you been to Walt Disney World? Or I guess since you live in Florida, you've been Disney World's not. Have you been there a few times or with the kids?
Yeah, we had
just a few times.
Season passes till they were probably about 5 or 6. I mean, we were taking them at 4 months old, so. Living in Florida, it's mandatory. You go to Disney World.
Right, they all know it's there. You can't.
I mean, we live just not even an hour from Disney, and Orlando's right down the road from us. So
cool. He's like, I need a beer after that. I need some. That's cool. So what about so we're almost wrapping up. The favorite all-time mashup that you've done or you've seen or both. Is there one that you can pick that you're like, this is by far, this just shines? Or I know you hate the favorite, but is there one that just
like I said,
so proud of?
The one set that I did, because they were all so different. The one set that I did, where I did for myself. I'm not saying that in an ego sense, but just I felt the production. But then again, I shot for the pictures I took were for those. Right.
So it's a different category. So the ones that you actually shoot for is it compared to the ones you actually have to go cut out?
Yeah, you almost kind of take those out. I've done. I did actually the whole Sucker Punch series. I was real proud of those. Those came out real well. I was very, very happy with those. The one I did actually for Isabel Fortain when she joined our curator, when she joined as a curator, that one I was very, very happy with and was very, very pleased. It wasn't Witchblade. I can't remember what movie it was, but and again, tried to tie image and text all together. She had a blade, and I always call it, you're doing digital surgery, because you're cutting someone else's face out and planning it on someone else. So kind of use the word, the wording in there as well. So probably those, the Sucker Punch series and that one are two of my favorite ones that I've done. But I mean, I love them all. I mean, there's some where I wish I'd done better. A lot of times it is time constraint. I don't have enough time to
There's
do
always
it
that. You could probably look at every piece over and over and think, if I just did that or did this.
Yeah, I could pick every one of them apart. There's something, shit, I wish I would have done
is there one that you really worked on it where you can't do that, or no?
You mean can't rework, or that
is there one that you worked so hard on, you spent so much time on, and you just pleased punch about that you don't really look at it and be like, yeah, I should have, or you have that with it? No.
Yeah, there's quite a few through there that like I said, I'm like, man, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done this a little differently, and maybe done something else with it. But for the most part, I I'm happy with all of them because they're all creations, and from what they are to me is what is and not just the ones that I do, that anybody does, is it's brilliant in the sense that you're taking two things that just shouldn't be going together. You're taking a just completely, usually a snapshot, and putting it into a well produced movie poster. I mean, and the
And
ability
in
to
many
do
times it really does look like that person.
that. Okay, now please go to bed. Do you want to have any fun this weekend? You better go.
I understand. So so I do a G plus wrap up real quick, but somebody likes to play doctor. Just got the stethoscope.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you, if you need to go, just if you need to.
I don't need to.
They need to
go to bed.
They need to go to bed.
Gross.
No problem.
Gross. Yeah, I know it's 10 o'clock also. Both of you, time to bed. Mommy will be home in a little while. She went over to Miss Laura's.
And this is something that everyone at home doesn't get to see often. Get to see you being a dad and your kids.
It's challenging me and a father.
I can imagine.
If you didn't know, it's challenging. Okay,
it's no easy ride.
No, but and that's what like I said, that's where time constraints come into sometimes. Where it's balancing being with them and doing the work, and then doing my day-to-day work. It's a big balancing act, and trying to co-curate themes and do other things. So I always have something going on somewhere.
Yeah. And you and I, everyone that watches, for the most part, if you're really using Google Plus, it could be a full-time job to really be involved with it. The way,
absolutely.
All the notifications and stuff. The wrap-up, Google Plus wrap-up. It's all about Google Plus. Favorite part of Google Plus.
What's that?
What's your favorite? Okay, I can hold.
Pull the door closed.
Let's take a 5-second break. I'll take a bite of this. See this? I still got the chicken roll going on. I know you want. I gotta take a picture of that. The chicken roll's in the picture.
All right, I'm back.
He's back. Outer space. What's your favorite part of G Plus? Is there
the interaction? I mean, well, Hangouts obviously is just. I mean, are just amazing. I mean, there's been nights that I'm on here and dealing with people from Canada, and there's people on the West Coast, there's people over in Thailand, there's people in Singapore, all at the same time. I mean, that's just amazing to me. I mean, we take it for granted, and people are like, but that's amazing. I mean, and it's all happening in real time. This is all right now happening, and that's just even right now. You're up in New York, I'm right here, and freaking you out. I'm freaking you out. But
I'm freaking out, man.
I'm freaking out, man.
Who's coming with me? Jane is coming with me.
Don't get off the boat.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. Lots of people watching. Ralph Mendoza's checking us out. Dave Levine, Sex Toy Dave. Ralph says you have cute kids. I agree. April Gorman, look at all the hair. Lots of people watching us on the Google Plus and the YouTube. I haven't been over there. I gotta check. So okay, and what is there a feature you'd like to mostly integrated that comes to mind that's not here? I mean, you talked a little bit about the events and albums.
I wish wish events could get to a different place. I really wish pages would help curate curating themes and managing themes more like it would help tremendously. That if pages could have some kind of image management system, I don't know why they don't. I mean, obviously you've got to have those pictures are going somewhere, and obviously they're being culled somewhere in Picasa. Why we can't get access to that is beyond me. That we don't have control over those galleries. more than just deleting and adding to them. So
And you brought up something else that I thought of. I think like whether it's personal or pages, I know we have search, but how cool would it be if we could subscribe? If people want to subscribe to hashtags, so you get a notification every time someone posts with a hashtag. That way you don't have to go search for all the posts and stuff. That would
actually be pretty cool.
That would be cool. So then you could just tie your hashtags to your page and be like, all right, we won't miss. We don't have to go searching. It's right there. It's all right there if you want to share it right then and there.
I still wish. I mean, what has been a bitch since day one, and maybe it'll never will be fixed. But that you can only see up to 10 notifications and then it goes dead. It's like, what the? Why?
Yeah.
Why? I don't. Why?
Yeah, I use the whole stream view and I go through, but it's frustrating because you'll see like, all right, there's a post I made, and then down there there's a saved post. They don't group it together. They don't constantly.
It's helped tremendously since they overhauled Gmail, because I've actually lately started using that because it looks just like your feed, so you can go through there and almost like you're clicking through the notifications. Now it doesn't show +1s or anything like that, but it doesn't show every single notification, because I know I'll be in communication with somebody and I know I don't see it, that our conversation showing up in Gmail. So that's not a perfect world yet, but it's pretty damn close. So that's actually helped out tremendously. So
it's weird how you can miss out conversations or people tagged your name and you search for it, like, oh my god, I didn't see a notification for that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That happens too. When you think of Hangouts, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Fun.
Fun. That is the correct answer. People that maybe there's some artists, photographers that don't get the love. They're new, or that maybe you give shout outs to, or people that they should check out work that you mentioned Isabel.
Yes.
Anyone else, or your curators, if you want to give them shout outs.
Well, yeah, my curators of Isabel Fortin, curators, Shane Hosklaw. Those are the three of us on Movie Mashup Tuesday, and then Cheryl Cooper, and myself and Isabel also on Blast from the Past, and then really the profiling page. It just kind of runs itself, so I don't know that it has. And same thing with Manly Mondays. It's Alan Shapiro and Barry and Blanchard and Shell Peterson. I can't remember his last name. But it kind of runs.
Did you say Peterson? Shot. Sergeant Peterson, Chicago Police. Back to the
yeah, so those are we curators, which I know that's even I've seen some posts where that's not the proper term to call
managers, curators, admins, people that do stuff over there.
We're the people that are actually spending time that we could be with our families trying to do this stuff.
Trying to do some cool, good stuff, fun stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, and I think that Google Plus in general, I think it should be nice if it was everything was more incorporated than it is. I feel like that there's just so much going on, and
it's getting there. I mean,
yeah,
definitely getting there. I mean, just the Google integration into so many different things is that's the beauty of it. With the calendar to contacts to all of that, it's a nice system. I mean, it really is, and you can take it even I've got a few different Android devices. I also have an iPad and an iPod, but just the integration where you can do something on one and it updates it on all the others. It's a really nice system. I'm not a fanboy of either, but I do like I seem to like the Google / Android system, and the integration of it pretty good. I mean, granted, like I said, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know if it works better with
I mean, the iPhone's pretty good. I have one, and the calendar and everything is there, and it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. So I think they're doing good. Cat pictures, dog pictures, animated GIFs. Do you love, hate, tolerate, enjoy, feelings?
I'm. It depends.
Different.
I'm indifferent. I mean, if there's too much or too many reshares of the same one over and over, that gets old. But
You like seeing original type stuff like that.
yes,
Maybe that if people took their
exactly.
own dog or cat picture, or people made their own animated GIF, that might be cooler.
Yes,
That
or if
kind
they
of thing.
make their own meme, their own meme or their own GIF out of something, that I love because I know that
Me
they're
too.
putting their mind into it, but they don't bother me. I mean, I like them for the most part. I usually get a little
Yeah.
chuckle out of them. You know, early on there was a couple people where that's all where that I circled. That's all they ever did, and I kind of
I was probably in a group where
I I
I got blamed. I don't know.
I
Mozart.
cleaned house.
Playhouse. Yeah, I mean, when Google Plus first started, I think a lot of people were just posting and they didn't know what it was, and they just. But even now, if you post, and I don't know if it's sad or just it is what it is. If you post an animated GIF, you are going to get it. I mean, if you have an audience, you're going to get the attention. It's going to happen. So there is
Yeah.
that. So if you can, so what I think is post the animated. If you have a message, take the message and somehow relate it to animated GIF, and now more people can see what your message is. I mean, stuff like
Yes.
that is helpful.
Yeah, I agree. And well, that's the other thing. It's kind of a pet peeve is resharing, which I'm completely flattered when somebody reshares one of my pieces or a post or whatever, but expound on it a little bit. Why are you resharing it? It's one thing to just reshare it, but I want to know why you wanted to reshare. Why did you feel like you needed to reshare it, and expound on it a little bit, or say, maybe, just something than just resharing. Just resharing to reshare just kind of seems you're just kind of recycling. But if you actually add something to it and add a little more insight to how it affected you or why you felt the need to
Or you
share it
wanted
with
to
others,
add, you want to add
yeah, add
comedy
exactly,
or
add
something.
or add your own perspective on it. Then you actually kind of add to the ownership of it, and it actually kind of becomes a little bit more of yourself. I like I said, I'm always flattered, and I always, if someone reshares myself, almost if I can, I always try and make sure to go back to that post and thank them for resharing. But I say if you reshare, at least give it something, say why, why you felt it needed to be reshared.
And
Why?
I'm in 100% agreement with you. I mean, that's like my MO. I don't think I've ever reshared anything and without leaving a comment as well, without putting more to it, because like you said, like when the animated GIFs get reshared, and it's like, and then someone see, especially at the beginning. Now I don't know now, but you see bam bam because it was so popular, people just went. And now I see
Right.
like two in a row sometimes. But if each animated GIF had like a comment or something else attached to it, then I'd be like, oh, okay, there's more to
Yeah.
see. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty tolerant. But I agree 100%. And the resharing system could be better. I think it'd be interesting to see like as it's reshared. Like for instance, if I add a comment and you reshare it for me, then my comment stays and things like that. But
Yeah.
people think it would just get mushy. I don't know.
I guess it could get.
Depends on who's the
Good.
programming designer.
Yeah,
Who is the
push them buttons?
push the right buttons? They're not pushing the right buttons. Do you still use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any other sites? Less, more, not at all, the same since you use Google Plus?
I still use Facebook because mostly it's my family, but it over the last couple months or so, I've actually picked up a lot of my G Plus friends on there, and it. I always kind of kid around. I always say it's like cheating on an ex-girlfriend. It's like when I'm over on a G Plus friends page over on Facebook and commenting. It's like it's like you're cheating with an old girlfriend or something. But it just feels wrong
Feels
sometimes.
wrong, man.
It feels so dirty. But
Feels yeah.
but
As long as you're not really cheating.
no, not really. But no, it's but it's mostly family and friends, obviously, over there. And
Although what I did, which is interesting, and I think I added you to it, I took people from Google Plus, and I found them on Facebook, and I friended them, and we friended each other, subscribed, and I made something. It's called Interest on Facebook, which on Google Plus would be a circle, and you can literally subscribe to this interest or list or whatever it is, like a circle, and you can see. And I added everyone from Google Plus to it, and you can see all the content they post there. And some of them post exactly identical, but a lot of them don't. And also they hooked up their Twitters and other stuff, so you can see more of people that you developed a relationship and what they're doing over there. And then something like that, it's because there's a lot of stuff in Google Plus and Facebook to look at, and it just gives you things to check out where you're like, all right, these are people that I know what they're posting. I don't have to worry about it being all mixed up, where I can't really see everything. So, and last but not least, something that really happened that blew you away on Google Plus. I know you talked a little bit about something like Blast from the Past just exploding and things like that, but is there a story? I know Captain Morgan. Is there a story that happened or something that happened, an event, something with you, a person, something that just comes to mind that changed, that eye-opened it for you? Or
well, actually,
someone called you awesome?
Hang on, my door just got back open and they're trying
Okay.
to sleep.
That was a real closing of the door, not a sound effect.
Yes, that was not a paid actor door. Actor. Actor. Now, I mean, more for G Plus for me has been just a very personal experience. I'm sorry, I'm having a problem with my headphones. Been a very
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes. It's been a very personal experience, and that's why, for the longest time when I came over to G Plus, I did kind of completely abandon Facebook almost altogether, because it just seemed like I could kind of expound more, like I said, on my photography and stuff like that than I could over there. And there was a lot more kind of genuine interaction, with people, and especially, with the photography community was just unreal. And I was kind of just starting to kind of get that push into my photography. And then, getting into the Selfie Sundays and starting to do that just really made my photography just take off. I mean, I can almost see when I got into started doing the Selfie Sunday project, where my photography just kind of sort of took off in a different direction. And I actually used the Selfie Sunday for consoling. Like my mother passed. Actually, it's coming up on a year in October.
Oh, sorry.
She passed. But when she passed away, and I actually used my Selfie Sunday shot as sort of a way to mourn. I mean, literally, she passed the day before, and it was a shot that I had already planned to shoot, but I was going to shoot it in a different way. It was going to be more humorous, and it was one that I did where I'm actually dressed as the devil, and I'm sitting in a chair. But originally, I was going to be sitting in a bar, and it was going to be kind of swank devil, and it was going to be
That's
kind of
I think your Facebook profile picture, or
that's
or
the
was?
same devil outfit, but that was another shoot that I was actually commissioned to shoot
Okay.
and be in as the devil. That was kind of cool.
He's like, I'm cast as the devil.
I'm cast as the devil, and I'm the photographer.
Look, Mom, the devil's on TV.
Don't touch that. It's evil. Oh, Dad.
This is my boomstick.
Yes. But yeah, so instead of a very kind of happy shot, I was the devil, and I kind of layered the shot in it's got a lot of symbolism. I'm sitting in a chair that was in my parents' house, growing up, that I have here, and I'm in the red jacket that I'm wearing is actually my father's. The tie was my father's, and I'm holding in the picture a picture of my mom and dad that my mom had given me right after my father passed. So the whole picture's got is just steeped in symbolism. I'm still dressed as the devil, and I look like the devil depressed, because and that's what I wrote was because my parents were they were just wonderful people, so so well loved, and if there is a heaven and hell, those were two souls that the devil would never get. It's obvious. Those are two souls the devil would never get. So he was depressed. So kind of just tried to tie all that up into one shot. And so, like I said, I've used it for that. I've used it in times like that. I've used it in happiness. With my daughters. Been able to share pictures of them through their years and stuff like that. So it's been a very personal experience. In fact, when I first came to G Plus, it was nothing but a personal experience. That's what I wanted, was to not come in trying to sell pictures, trying to not. I wanted it to be nothing about business whatsoever. In fact, it only is until just this week that I've even posted anything about selling images of any kind. I just put some pictures up on Redbubble of some of my hand-drawn artwork, because I do artwork on my iPad and my Zoom tablet.
So it's you!
It's me!
That does that.
Yeah, so all those pictures are me, and are that I do. So it's only till just recently that I've even tried to do any kind of business type networking or anything like that. And even at that, it's very minimal. I don't want to push it. It's there. People.
I think there's a way to do it. There's a subtle way to do it, and I think you're doing it. I think it's important to build relationships and have fun and make friends, and there is work involved in that, and putting time, and for sure. I mean, I think there are people that do it. We always say you're doing it wrong, you're doing it right, and I think that's you're doing it right.
Wrong.
You're doing it wrong. You're wrong. That was I'll look for that. So the picture of the devil looking depressed, that is, I can find that in your albums. People can find that.
Look in my selfies gallery.
Your selfies gallery
is in there. Yeah.
Very cool. I can't think enough new movies coming out. Looking forward to. I know I put down The Hobbit, The Maker, and Django Unchained. Tarantino's next movie. Is there one of those, or is there any movies that you're looking forward to?
Funny enough, I don't go to movies much.
Okay. Well, if you could maybe link it, like the Lincoln movie might be good. Spielberg and Daniel Day-Lewis.
That might be pretty cool. Yeah, that actually might be pretty cool. That looks pretty cool.
Well, thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I can't speak either. Ron, I think I've asked you. I didn't ask about. Should I ask about your goatee? And what did you say? What kind of beer you're drinking?
Tonight, just some Oktoberfest. Some
Oh,
Sam
nice.
Adams. Yeah, just some Sam Adams. I had some nice pumpkin ale over the weekend. So.
Oh yeah, pumpkin ale's good. Pumpkin ale's coming back, huh?
Yep, it's in season.
It is. It is. I wish pumpkins were year-round, but that would probably spoil it, right? Too much. Too much. And what about is there any story behind the goatee, or just the way you style it, or?
It's just the way I style it, and actually, I trimmed it back really far when I did the scavenger hunt, because I did the kiss shot and I wanted it as shorn as possible, but I wasn't going to shave it all the way off, so I cut it way back. So it's finally kind of coming back again, back down to my point. I liked having the point, so. I
like to have a point so I can make a point and feel like there's a point to this life. Something like that. Wait, you got a point? Oh, wait, let me take a picture. Point again. All right. I gotta wait for I use the moment captured on my Hangouts thing, because the print screen is a pain. But Mark Rodriguez, you're awesome. Hopefully, I'm gonna coming up perhaps the largest show I've ever done. No joke. 1 year anniversary show next week. They do 24 hours. I'm a crazy man. I'll probably not. There'll be breaks and 4 hours a shot. Maybe time for food porn. And I can't even finish the chicken roll. It's like gonna sit here. We've come so far, and hopefully Sweet 709 will be there, and all the guests. Mark, you're welcome. It's gonna be September 12th from 8:15 p.m. till September 13th, Wednesday to Thursday, to 8:15 p.m. And I'm gonna literally just stay up and probably not be able to do anything the next day because I'll be zombified. And it's going to be a lot of fun. A few miles. We'll talk about memories, the metric system, I don't know, the world connecting with each other, and the Royale with cheeses, like that stuff.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. I didn't go into, what did I say, McDonald's? Or I didn't go to Burger King. So that's what he said, the Whopper.
Yeah.
What do you call the Whopper? And also, now the new birthday thing is here. So happy birthday to, from what I can remember, Paul Riston. He's a body painter. Chichu, Cheryl Wilson, Bud Hoffman, Matt Steiner, and a lot of other people had birthdays. So happy birthday! And so I'm kind of liking it. It's on Google.com. It's not in the way. I wouldn't even be opposed for it to be on Plus in a little area in the corner the same way where I can just look at it drops down. I don't think that's a big deal. I know people freak out about those kinds of Facebook-like type things. But thanks to everyone that was watching live on YouTube, Google Plus, and the events, all the great people that watched. Isabel was watching, and Jim, and Brown from the Laundromat, and April Norman. Someone said, I think she was the one that said, Hangouts are so cool. I really need to get a webcam, and
yes, do it.
Do it. You need to get a webcam.
Everybody needs to get on a Hangout.
Everybody needs to get a Hangout. Experience what it's like, the magic, the mystery,
Yes.
the intrigue, and then you talk, and then the next morning you're like, I can't talk because I talked all day.
I've had so many just late night hangouts where I got too many West Coast friends where it's only like 9, 10, 12 o'clock there. It's like 4 in the morning here, and
Yeah, I know. It's not even 8 o'clock there. It's like quarter to 8.
I'm dying, and they're like, why are you so tired?
They're like, just another hour, just another, and then they're all happy, and you wake up and you're like, oh God, I can't move. But we're gonna do Conversations Plus, which I'm gonna invite as many of you as I can into the new Hangout with Mark for a little bit. Maybe I won't keep it too long, maybe 15, 20, 50 hours, and we'll talk a little bit about movies and all that stuff, and also go do your own movie mashup, will you? Like Bruce Willis and, I don't know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, maybe put them into one guy. That's crazy, right? That kind of concept for a movie. But thank you again, Mark. I can't thank. I keep thanking you because it was a good time. Did you have a good time? We didn't get drunk too much, but
no, I'm not even near drunk.
and then check out all of his albums, Mark Rodriguez's albums. Is there a markrodriguez.com or?
No.
Okay.
Pretty much everything's on here. I mean, like I said, I just opened a thing on Redbubble, and I've got a Zenfolio account, but I don't really.
I don't know Zenfolio. Okay, sounds.
It's
good.
a portfolio site, for photography and stuff. So, but like I said, I don't really push those. So mostly G Plus. That's
G Plus. And you got a lot of great pictures. And movie mashup. That was really cool. If you haven't seen today, the what was it today? The Howard Stern one, the Matthew Stern, and the 21 Jump Street. I still haven't seen this. Did you see this movie? I didn't see this. The remake. The remake. I heard it was funny. And the Get Him to the Greek one, which I don't have on me, which is really funny. And then he also did Google Plus Fellas, which is recent. And the photographers, they use their guns like you to shoot people. They shoot them dead. No.
I'll go get your fucking shine box.
Now, go get your fucking shine box. We'll see you on Conversations Plus. Go get your fucking shine box. Have yourself. Let's do one more picture. We'll do you get the beer. I got the chicken roll. Yeah, wave it around. Let me get you on the big screen. Hold on. I can't double. Come on, capture that moment. There we go. You're still watching. What's the matter with you? I mean, good job. All right. I'm going to hit end broadcast when it lets me. In 5, 4. Dance, Spider, dance, dance, dance.